Alright, howdy y'all, welcome back to the Chungus channel. Whole lot of red. Dropped a week ago. Had some time with it, we kind of sitting on it, trying to let it grow on me. We're gonna talk about it right now. Alright, so before I actually start talking about it, you guys need to know that I am a really big, playboi carti fan. I've really fucked with this shit ever since SoundCloud and stuff. But I'm gonna try to keep this review as objective as possible. But yeah, I know it's gonna sound a little bit biased in some areas, but you guys are gonna see that I've been trying to keep this really objective and look at it from all perspectives. So I don't understand why this album was so important. We have to look at playboi carti's previous albums. Right, so playboi carti's debut album was called In Abundance, and a lot of people don't even know about this album because it was when his sound was really raw. It wasn't as produced or as posh, you could say. It wasn't as clean, so it was really close to more of his his SoundCloud stuff back in the day. Personally, I really fuck with this project. This really put me on playboi carti. The song Freestyle for the People, I really love that shit. I thought it was so fire, just the beat, how it was so wavy and how he sounded on it. And he never really said anything, he never really talked about anything of significance, but just the way he sounded and the way it was put together was so fire. And that's what the album predominantly sounded like. Every song on it had that wavy trap sound, and it was what playboi carti would become famous for. The song that really blew playboi carti up was off the album, Broke Boy. Pretty good song, personally I don't think it was the best off the album, but yeah, it was pretty good. Tons of people liked how he sounded. It wasn't completely baby voiced, but it had like hints of it and stuff. And while he slowly blew up, he joined the ASAP Mob, which really kind of skyrocketed him. He was hanging out with people like Rocky and Ferg and stuff. He was hopping on songs with them, and he was in Cozy Tapes, the album by ASAP Mob, and honestly he really put a lot to that project. I feel like he really added to a lot of the songs he was on. He made it really fire. It's hard talking about Carti's old project because most people know him for his new ones, but I feel like that's pretty important to understand how his sound has evolved throughout the years. And while he was blowing up, a lot of people hated him. A lot of people just said he doesn't even say anything, all he does is make weird noises, which is true, but at the same time music doesn't always have to be about the message. And with playboi carti's case, I don't even know what he's saying half of the time. It's usually just the beat, how it sounds, and how he sounds on it. That's all it is. As long as people don't compare him to people like, I don't know, Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole or some shit, he'll be fine. You can enjoy his music, and if you don't, that's fine. Carti's music really isn't for everyone. I seriously do get when people tell me they don't fuck with him. Being a really hardcore playboi carti fan like me gets fed up a little bit when I listen to a song and he literally isn't saying anything, he's just making noises. Following the success of Die Lit and Self-Titled, Carti had a lot of, expectations on him. This album had a lot of expectations. This album was supposed to be a classic, an instant classic. So was it an instant classic, just like we all thought? Not exactly. So Whole Lotta Red dropped on December 25th on Christmas, and we were all expecting big things. We were all expecting him to have everybody in the industry on it, but he had only 3 features, prominent features, but it was only 3. But I don't want to start off negative, so I'm gonna talk about the things I liked, and then I'm gonna talk about the things I didn't like. And the things I didn't like, I really didn't like. So to me, one of the best things about this album was the production, produced by Kanye West. It's obviously gonna be top tier. Everything was great in my opinion. The beats, the way it sounded, the synths, the way it was put together, the way he sounded on them, just so fire. And how I was talking about that wavy, trappy synth sound, that's what was mainly on this album. A lot of the songs were they just flowed together. You could just listen to them back to back and they just went along with each other. And when an album could do that, that the production quality is good because all the beats, they go along with each other like an album. The next thing I liked was the selection. He gives a lot of songs. I think it was 24. He gives 24 songs. So if you didn't like one, you gotta like another one at least. Now most of them did sound really similar, but like I said, that's good indication when an album flows together really well. But yeah, this overall selection was good. I feel like there was a song for everybody, whether you like kind of more mellow chill beats, or whether you're into that really like heavy bassy stuff. There is something for everyone. But for things that I liked about the album, that's kind of where it ends. I mean, the 2 things that I did like were they were important things, I guess, but I see a lot of other issues that we're going to talk about. So my first main problem with this album was the number of songs. Now I said there's a large selection that's good, but not all the time. I would much prefer quality over quantity, and I think that's a lot of people, especially when it comes to music, that's what you always want. And 24 songs, it's kind of a big album and there is a lot for everybody, but at the same time there isn't a good selection, if that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of songs, but none of them really stand out as, oh my god, this is a banger. They all just kind of sound the same, and I said it's good when an album flows together, but not in this way. An example of an album that flows really well together is, Igor by Tyler, the Creator. All the songs are unique. They all have distinct, sounds that you can hear, but they all flow together really well because he's telling a story throughout the entire thing, and just the way that it's put together, it flows really well. Carti's album is not like that. I'm not sitting here, expecting Carti to tell us a story. I know he's not lyrical or anything, but I really feel like he could have put a little bit more effort, especially with all the time that he had. And that brings me to the next point, is that we really gave this dude 2 years to perfect his craft, make an album, and it turned out like this. No, I really don't want to sound like I'm hating. I understand he probably did put a good amount of effort into this album, but he probably really could have done a lot better. I mean, come on, bruh. Most of the songs are so forgettable. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can probably remember like 2 or 3 names, and that's like, I don't know, Vamp Anthem and May. But those are like the only 2 songs that really stood out to me, along with the songs with like Kanye West and Carti and stuff. But again, that's mainly because of the features. And oh my god, the features, that's another thing. 3 features, are you serious? Like, I understand that you don't want to work with some artists, and that's cool, but with the time you got, bro, we expected everyone in the industry. I was thinking Travis Scott, fucking Uzi, I don't know, bro, Trippie Redd, just anyone except those 2 features, 2-3 features. Like, that's just not enough. And the reason it's not enough is because I said every song sounds the same, every song's forgettable. I couldn't tell you the difference between this song and that song. The beats are fire, don't get me wrong, the beats will always be fire for the Playboi Carti song. That's just how he rolls, but the songs are really forgettable. I can't distinguish the difference between this song and the next. Now, I do appreciate a little bit of the slower songs where he's like kind of opening up, he's talking about how things are going on with him. I can appreciate that kind of stuff, but honestly, those are the only songs that stand out in the album, and that's because you can actually understand what he's saying. Really overdid the baby voice in some of these songs. I mean, like, I couldn't understand what he's saying, and that's fine with the Carti song, but the thing was, it hurt my ears to continue listening to it, and that's never a good thing. So I feel like he really overdid it with that voice in a couple of songs. Some of the songs he's not even rapping, he's just straight up just talking over the beat. And that's cool in some, choice, like in some songs, like that's an artistic choice, I get that. But in other songs, he's just singing, not even rapping. I don't know. I know I've been mostly negative about the album, but I don't hate it. And honestly, I kind of like it. It's low-key growing on me. I've talked to other people and they tell me it's dog shit, but everyone has their own opinion. A lot of my friends who like Carti, they say they didn't like the album, but I'm gonna give it some time. Probably grow on them too. But as for now, for a final rating, I'm gonna have to give it like a 7 out of 10, and that's probably being a little bit generous, but I have a soft spot for Carti. I don't know, man, it just doesn't feel like the classic that we thought it was gonna be. It just wasn't what we expected. A lot of the songs are just forgettable. There's no really memorable songs that stand out. There's a couple, don't get me wrong, the entire album's not ass. There's a couple of songs that really stand out and you're like, damn, it's pretty fire. But apart from those like 2 or 3 songs, I don't know, he feels like he really chose quantity over quality in this one. But yeah, man, that's it. That's my final verdict. 7 out of 10. I know this wasn't like some super technical review, but I don't think you can really do that with music. I was just had to say it from the heart. Just had to say it from the heart, I guess. That's how I really feel about this album. Thought it was okay. I feel like it'll grow on me if I give it some time, but as for now, it's pretty mediocre. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Alright, peace.